My husband doesn't know how to do that.
Just anything.
A little humor.
Get your story out.
Through.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm going to start crying and I haven't even started yet. But so cancer is my family's curse. This awful disease has taken aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. Cancer even took Martha, my childhood Shih Tzu. My mom, who's here with us tonight, she's over there, is a 4-time cancer survivor. Yeah, give her a round. 1-time breast, 3-time ovarian. Her cancer recurrences aren't just because of bad medical care or all the Diet Pepsi she drinks, but because of a cancer gene. This gene is known by many names. BRCA, the breast cancer gene, that thing that Angelina Jolie has. But whatever you call it, it means that carriers have a higher risk of developing breast and ovarian cancer. Because my mom has it, I have a 50% chance of inheriting this genetic abnormality. A fucked up flip of a shitty coin. I essentially have a better chance of developing cancer than I do of being able to afford a home in California. As if I didn't get enough exposure to cancer in my formative years, I work for the American Cancer Society. But at least now I'm getting paid to fight cancer and I can use it to pay my therapy bills. People often tell me that I'm lucky that my mom survived her horrible prognosis. They tell me that I'm lucky that I don't have this cancer gene. But lucky is finding $50 on the ground. Lucky is getting laid after a dry spell. Watching cancer rip your mom apart is not lucky. Facing life-altering genetic testing before the age of 30 is not lucky. At this age, the only test results I want to worry about are GRE scores, maybe a pregnancy test, not cancer. My family's journey with cancer feels very familiar to a horror movie. And I'm not talking about one of those one-and-done horror movies where the main character kills the bad guy in 90 minutes or less. Ours feels like a horror movie franchise. Like Halloween, where Michael Myers keeps coming back, even though they shove him out a window, stab him hundreds of times, light him on fire. Cancer is our Michael Myers that keeps coming back no matter how hard we try. I grew up with my mom having cancer, and a lot of my memories of childhood are a blur of stress and uncertainty. But there is a diagnosis of my mom's that I remember best. It was September of 2006. The month I started my freshman year of high school at a brand new school, the month of my 14th birthday, and the month that my mom was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. I wish I could say that my mom's cancer diagnosis was the most traumatic thing to happen to me during that month, but if I'm being honest, September of 2006 will go down in my history as the month that I got my period for the first time in front of my entire school while wearing white pants. I vividly remember this day. I was getting ready for school and deciding between brown corduroys or white pants. And I go to yell down the hall to get my mom's opinion when it hits me. My mom is in the hospital having yet another surgery to remove the cancer that has just ravaged her abdomen. She's not there. White pants it is. Later that day, I'm sitting in Spanish class. My stomach's feeling a little bit weird, but I don't really think anything of it. And the bell rings, and I decide I'm going to stop at the restroom on the way to my next class. So I'm pushing my way through the crowded hallways, pretty much passing my entire school in the process. I make it to the restroom. There's a long line, but I can see in the mirror in front of me that my pants are completely covered in blood. I felt like Carrie at the prom, except the blood was coming out of me. I run to the nurse's office. I burst through the door sobbing, trying to explain what's going on, when she interrupts me and goes, "Honey, what's wrong?" As I stand there with blood visibly seeping through my pants. And I say, "Do you think I'm here for the blood drive? Clearly something's wrong." She finally gets the situation and she offers to let me lie down, and she said she's gonna call my parents. I'm not sure what lying down is going to do in this moment. It's not a nosebleed. It's not going to magically absorb back up in there if I lay flat, but I do what she says. And I start to give her my mom's contact information, but it hits me for the second time that day that my mom can't come pick me up. She's in the hospital. the nurse is going to have to call my dad, a soft-spoken law school professor who I would gladly debate with about the ethics of the pink tax, discuss if feminine care products should be free for all, but not someone I wanted to discuss the details of my first period with. I wondered if in that moment, can I run away, start a new life? Maybe transfer schools. But I realized that the nurse is just gonna have to call my dad. He comes and picks me up, and on the way home, we have to stop at CVS to get the needed supplies. I refuse to get out of the car because I'm just so mortified and embarrassed, so he goes in without me. He comes back out with a Costco-sized bag of pads and tampons. He definitely consulted NASA when determining how much to buy. You know NASA, the geniuses that sent a woman to space with 100 tampons for her 6-day trip? The next day, I go visit my mom in the hospital. When I walk in the room, she immediately starts crying. She's devastated that she's missed such a pivotal coming-of-age moment in my life. She hands me a small pink card that says, "Congratulations on your first period." At 14, in that moment, it felt like any shred of dignity that I'd managed to salvage had been obliterated. But now that I'm in my 30s and not a bitchy teenager, I look back at that moment a little bit differently. At that point in time, cancer had already taken so much from my mom. Her breasts, part of her colon, her ability to have children besides me, her peace of mind. And with that most recent surgery, my mom would no longer be able to have a period. And part of her was mourning yet another loss that cancer had inflicted upon her. I don't know why this fucked up cycle of life moment has to happen in the same week where I get my period and my mom loses hers. But I guess like the age-old saying goes, when one uterus closes, another must open. My mom has been cancer-free for about 15 years now. Yeah. Our horror movie franchise has paused. But with my mom's cancer history, our Michael Myers can never fully be killed. There is always a chance, and a high chance, that the cancer could come back. I've heard Hollywood is struggling though, so hopefully there can be a pause in production for just a little bit longer. Thanks, everybody.